So welcome back to the channel. Today, man, I'm just gonna clean my bike. I have so many things planned for this bike, and some of them I already did, and they're done as part of the plan that I have for the bikes. But I'm getting to the point where I haven't even washed the bike just to kind of see the potential in the bike. And I've been primarily just working underneath the tank or just reflash, filter, doing all of that. But it's time for me just to mess with the engine, and at least on the outside, and main sprockets and chain and that type of thing. And I hate a dirty bike. So come with me. I'm just gonna do a few modifications today, but I'm primarily just wanting to get on the bike before I start making some changes that requires me to remove parts, and in the process just getting my hands dirty every time I put my hands on it, which is something that I do not appreciate. So come with me and let's just deal with this. So as part of the process, I actually want to remove the sprocket cover, because I'm going to be replacing my sprocket pretty soon. So one of the things that I want to do is actually just remove this cover so I can clean it up, and I can take that opportunity to clean behind the engine. So before I remove this, which I already did, but I wanted to show you, is the fact that I took some nail polish from my wife. She's very happy about it, and I took this brush and I marked where the actual shifter is located right now. So I just make sure to pull it out a little bit, because it's already, oh, look at that. So so I do this way. I know when I'm going to be setting it back, I don't have to, I'm taking the guessing out of this game, and I don't have to worry about making sure that it's going back to the same place. If you're struggling removing this bolt, which it seems like the person who was actually working on this bike before did, it's very difficult because you can't get a actual wrench in here. But after it's a little bit loose, you can do this number here, just to help you a little bit, unless you have a very short number 5 hex that you can get in between the frame and this. So now with my marks, I don't have to worry about remembering where does it go. Play a little bit. Yep, now it's out. Now this gives me the opportunity to actually work on these bolts in here, which are fairly loose. Hey, I'm not exaggerating. It's caked up pretty well in here. So I'm just gonna take this. That way I can, the heavy dirt I can actually scrape, and then we can start kind of using a brush and cleaning this up a little bit. So I'm just gonna remove this and I'll clean it out, and I'll bring it back again when it's clean. For now, this is another heavy mess that I have in here. All right, so if you've been following my videos, you know that I'm a racer at heart, and there's something about having exposed counter sprockets that I just love. Anyway, long story short, you saw what I did. I'm not planning on putting lights like I did on my GSX for now. I'm never say never. And I know I'm missing the part here. I haven't cleaned it entirely, but ooh, I like this. So that is the actual final position, and hey, I like it. All right, so I'm about to remove this sprocket, and I realized that I had a 32, that I had all the different sockets, the 32s, the 27, the 24, and then I realized that I never had a 30, because when I had my FZ09 before, I never replaced the sprockets. But anyhow, I have these, open wrenching here, which, has the measurements. I also have a caliper. I have my trusty caliper in here too. I decided, you know what, let me just give it a try. And then just see, what the actual measurement is. So I did like this, and I realized, okay, I think I have a good idea here. So when I checked, oh, cool. It's a 30. Perfect. So that's when I decided, okay, let me go to Harbor Freight and just grab a couple, sockets. But actually, before I do that, let me see, is this, all in? And that's when I did this number here. And if you realize the bike didn't move, I didn't put any pressure at all. So this was completely loose. This is just an FYI for you guys. When you guys are buying secondhand bikes, do not underestimate to take a look at the bike. I'm so happy that I have never, driven this bike, I guess, besides the day that I actually drove it or rode it, back home from when I purchased this. So anyhow, I mean, it's unlikely, but it's something that can happen. I know. So for those of you who are new, essentially what you want is for this to be tightened, first of all, to 69 pounds of torque and foot-pounds, and then you want to hammer these two areas down so that this has no way to become, to get untightened, and get loose and come off, because it'll be a bad day if that happens. So a lot of people will probably tell you that it's good idea just to get a new one, and yeah, I agree with that for sure. But if you can see here, you can still have enough material so that I can take, with a screwdriver and actually press this down, and I should be good to go in order to ensure that this is not gonna come off even after putting, decent amount of torque. So anyhow, just watch out. So now from the perspective of installing the actual sprocket and torquing down the sprocket, we are good. So now what's left is just to, you see these indentations in here? Now we're going to take the lip on the metal, and we're just gonna take a screwdriver with a hammer or anything else you can, make some force on, apply some, pressure in here. Okay, so what you're looking to do is to actually deform the lip, and by deforming that lip, you are preventing this nut from coming off. So there's actually two different areas you can do it. So I did it in one, now I'm going to do it on the one on the bottom. And I'm going to show you the final product in 1 second. Okay, so now you can probably see, now this is completely bent in here and in here. So this is not gonna come off. If I were to remove this right now, I will be inserting a flat, screwdriver in here to lift it up, and that will make, this nut to come off free the same way, we undid it. Okay, cool. Since we now have one less, teeth, or tooth in here from going from a 16 to the 15 that's on the bike right now, we are left with a chain that needs to be adjusted now. So that's easy. So now we're just gonna be lifting the rear and then adjusting the chain like you normally would. So I'm not gonna bore you with that process because you know how to do that already. This video was actually more just to show you how to do the front sprocket and ensuring that you're doing it in a safe manner where you're going to be making sure that you're first of all installing the sprocket in the correct orientation. So this is how it came off. So it needed this, have to have this spacing. So this was actually facing forward. So that's exactly how I put the new one. And then if you're thinking about, hey Richard, why are you changing this if this is a used chain? So, this chain is actually fairly new. And then also I'm expecting this sprocket to stay here for a while. So I am not concerned with, actual more faster or quicker wear, on my components by inserting or bringing, a new component to the mix. And what I'm talking about is normally you like to change your rear sprocket and front sprocket and chain at the same time so they wear together, because they're kind of going through the same process of, the teeth kind of going into the actual, chain links. But at this point, to be quite honest, I'm not concerned. The chain is actually in pretty good shape. It's a 520 conversion chain, so I'm actually pretty good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and install the same stuff the same way I did before. So I'm going to go ahead and do this first. And now you have your open front sprocket, like I showed you guys earlier. There you go. And now you can see the sprocket through here. And then let me just get one of the bolts started. That looks pretty awesome. And now, if you were wondering about, the position of this again, so I'm going to be lining the marks I already drew on the part. And as you can tell, they are both matching. Let me get you closer. Okay, so I'm talking about these two lines that I drew before. So now that's in, and now I'm just gonna go ahead for my bolt, and then I'm just gonna get it all the way through. Remove it quicker than I thought. Okay, so now we're pretty decent, it's not moving anymore. So at this point, you're good. So I'm just gonna, of course, just double check the fact that you can go first, second, you can engage all the gears, and let's just go ahead and work on that chain. Okay, if you've seen my videos before, you probably have seen myself changing, adjusting chains, so you don't have to completely loosen this one up. But if you understand the principles of this, these are the adjusters. So you are just going to be undoing this nut. By bringing it closer, by undoing the knot, you're going to do the same on the other side. And there's some indicators on the frame or on these lines in here, and you can try to match those lines with lines on the actual axle blocks. And what you're looking for is to keep your chain straight. I'm not going to go through every detail. I've done this a lot of times, so just just take a look at one of the actual other videos that I've done in the past. But if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. So for now, for this, you just want it so that it's loose, so it allows movement, but it doesn't have to be completely loose. Okay, 2/12 are going to be your friends here. So let me undo this one. Okay, so now this one is loose, and let me do the same on the other side. Okay, I think it's more entertaining to see it from this side. So now I'm just gonna pay attention to where my line is. It's on the third one from the back. It's on the third one from the back on the other side. So I'm just gonna go little by little. And I'm just gonna take this 12, and the bolt is gonna come this way, so it pushes the axle block back, and you're gonna see the slack being reduced. Okay, I did 3 kind of half turns on that side. So I'm just gonna do the same on the other side too. Okay. Another good trick is to insert something in between the chain and the sprocket, just so you can pull the actual axle blocks all the way to the back. And then before you keep readjusting, there's a lot of slack still, so I'm just gonna go 1, 2. These are not perfect, but I'm gonna make sure that I'm aligning with this. So now I see where it's at. I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat this process again, as back as possible. And I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Okay, I'm gonna pull it back just so I can compare the position. There's still a lot of slack, so now let me pull again. Okay, now it's in the middle, in a good spot if I compare both. You know, slack is less, but still have a lot. And you want to 1 inch, but I myself, I rather, or I mean, you can do it a different way. My way of doing it is not just 1 inch. That's way too tight for me. So I like to run my chain fairly loose. Okay. So I'm gonna get through to the other line, and then I'm gonna mimic the same on the other side. More or less how I like it. It's still a little bit too much. Go twice on both sides. Okay, I like that. Now, and then sometimes when you tighten the actual axle, this is gonna get even more tighter. So I leave a little bit of a slack sometimes, just to make sure that I'm not gonna have to undo it again. I'm actually pretty happy. So I'm not gonna tighten completely, but I'm gonna make it a little bit tighter. So I'm just gonna hold this one while I'm applying a little bit of pressure on this one. See, that's good. I like that. And also when the actual bike is on the ground, it'll have some effect too. So I'm just gonna check the bike one as on the ground again. And now I'm going to do what I told you. So to avoid any more fluctuations in, you know, the how tight it's gonna be, I'm just gonna do this right here, just to keep it, you know, as tight as possible. So now we're gonna go to this side and we're going to torque this down. So this is almost like talking to people about oil. This is very controversial. So this is the one bike that for some reason it called for 108 pounds of torque. And I think most people go like 90 something like that, and they don't want to go all the way. And I get it. I mean, seems 108 seems to be a little bit excessive. Okay. Okay. That's 90 pounds. I'm gonna step it up to 100 and I'll leave it there. I'm lifting the bike. This is crazy. Let me just do it, push it instead of. Okay, that's 100 pounds. So now I'm going to remove the wrench. I still have the slack that I wanted. And remember, when the suspension is applying pressure, you'll see how this slack is gonna go from like 2 inches to like 1 inch probably. And if it doesn't go away, this is exactly how I like to run it. So I'm actually pretty happy with this. Just double checking this, this looks good. And now, I did not do it earlier, but now I'm just gonna go all the way on this. I hold it. Okay, now it's tight. No. It's moving free. And now let's bring it down. Let's double check the chain. Perfect. You probably think again, oh, this is a lot, this is like 2 inches. That's fine, that's how I like it. We're good, we are good.